You think you're getting a deal. Big portions, low prices. That trusted Kirkland label. But what if behind every shrink-wrapped package in Costco's meat aisle lies something far more unsettling? As inflation drives grocery bills to record highs in food, insecurity quietly spreads across American households. Costco has become a lifeline for millions. Yet, buried beneath those tempting price tags are alarming truths. Did you know that nearly 60% of all antibiotics sold in the US go to livestock, not people? Or that a single Costco hot dog can contain over 1,500 milligrams of sodium, more than half your daily limit in just one bite? What's really in that beef? Where did that chicken come from? Are you sure you're bringing home a bargain or something far more costly? If you're feeding your family with trust, you might want to take a second look. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today, we will break down everything Costco doesn't tell you about their meat. Keep watching, because what Costco doesn't say might be exactly what you need to hear to protect your health. Number 1, Kirkland Signature Ground Beef. Let's take an honest look at that oversized, tightly plastic-wrapped package of Kirkland Signature Ground Beef, sitting quietly in the refrigerated aisles of Costco. It's hard to miss. A dense, heavy brick of red meat, weighing somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds, staring back at you like a great deal you'd be a fool to walk past. At first glance, the price tag grabs you. It's usually less than $4 per pound. And in today's world where grocery bills seem to climb higher each week, that feels like a win. Compared to traditional grocery stores where similar ground beef can run you $5 or more per pound, it almost feels like you're outsmarting the system. But behind that bargain, behind the convenience and the bulk, there's a side of this meat that Costco doesn't exactly advertise. And if you're someone who cares about what goes into your food and where it comes from, it's worth paying close attention. Let's start with the source. That package doesn't just contain American beef. In fact, it might be more well-traveled than most of us. Thanks to a quiet change in labeling laws that took effect back in the year 2015, beef sold in the United States no longer has to list where each cut or chunk came from, just where it was packaged. That means the ground beef you're picking up could be a blend of meat from cattle raised in Australia, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And you wouldn't know. All the label has to say is something vague like product of USA. Even if the only part of the process that happened on American soil was the final grinding and wrapping. For older Americans who grew up in an era where made in the USA meant so much more. That's a tough pill to swallow. More than just patriotism, it's about food safety, farming standards, and traceability. If a food safety issue pops up, you might have no idea which country the meat in your freezer actually came from. Then there's the matter of how those cows were raised. This isn't grass-fed beef. It's not the kind of meat that comes from cattle grazing naturally in wide pastures. Instead, these cows are typically part of massive feedlot operations, where their primary diet consists of grain-based feed designed to bulk them up quickly and efficiently. The downside, that kind of feed reduces the nutritional value of the meat. Studies show that grass-fed beef can contain up to 5 times more omega-3 fatty acids, the good fats your heart and brain need, compared to grain-fed beef. So while Kirkland beef may fill your stomach, it might not be nourishing you in the way you think. Now, let's talk about size. A 3 to 5 pound package of ground beef might make perfect sense if you're cooking for a family of 6 or hosting a weekend barbecue. But for most older couples or individuals living on their own, it's frankly overkill. It's like buying a pickup truck when all you needed was a bicycle. If you don't plan ahead, you could find yourself wasting food or rushing to cook more beef than you ever wanted. That means portioning it out immediately, grabbing freezer bags, and making room in the fridge or freezer before you even get home. It's not the kind of convenience that Costco promises on the surface. And here's another thing Costco won't tell you. That deal you think you're getting might actually be costing you in subtle ways. From the potential loss of freshness if stored improperly, to the nutritional compromises of grain-fed beef, to the complete lack of sourcing transparency. There's more risk here than most shoppers realize. It's not that Kirkland Signature Ground Beef is bad, it's that it's not exactly what it appears to be. And in an age where Americans, especially older ones, are increasingly concerned with health, safety, and value, those hidden details matter more than ever. So before you throw that heavy pack into your cart next time, take a moment, ask yourself, do I know what's really in this? Can I trust where it came from? And is this really what my body needs or just what my wallet wants? Number 2, Kirkland Signature Organic Chicken. Walk into the poultry section at Costco, and you'll spot them right away. Kirkland Signature Organic Chicken. Neatly stacked in clean trays with that green USDA organic label calling out to you. They give the impression of wholesomeness, of something better for your health and your family's dinner plate. The packaging is tidy, the price seems fair, and the promise of organic carries a certain comfort, especially when it comes to meat. Now, let's talk about the good part first. These drumsticks are indeed certified organic by the United States Department of Agriculture. That means they were raised without antibiotics or growth hormones. And that's no small thing, on conventional chicken farms. Antibiotics are often used not just to treat illness, but to prevent disease from breaking out in overcrowded, stressful environments. According to a report from the Food and Drug Administration, nearly 60% of all antibiotics sold in the United States don't go to people, they go to livestock. So by choosing organic, you're not only protecting your own health, but also stepping away from a broken agricultural system that relies too heavily on drug use just to keep animals alive. Another pleasant surprise is the price. Anyone who's browsed the shelves at upscale grocery chains like Whole Foods knows how outrageously expensive organic meat can be. A package of chicken legs could easily set you back an arm and a leg. Ironic, considering we're talking about chicken legs. But Costco's version typically comes in at 30 to 40% less than what you'd pay at high-end natural food stores. That's a serious saving for something that still carries the organic badge. And when it comes to taste, these drumsticks don't disappoint, whether you're grilling them on the weekend, roasting them with herbs and garlic, or tossing them into the slow cooker for a hearty stew. They hold their flavor beautifully. But here's the part Costco doesn't exactly make clear. That shiny green label might not mean what you think it does. Yes, it's organic, but that doesn't mean the chickens were raised on a quaint little family farm, pecking around in sunny fields. In reality, most of Costco's Kirkland organic chicken comes from large-scale, industrialized operations. These are factory farms, plain and simple. The only difference is that they figured out how to check the right boxes to qualify for organic certification. The birds may be fed organic feed and denied antibiotics, but the environment they live in can still be cramped, stressful, and far from natural. So while you are avoiding chemical additives, you're not exactly supporting a return to old-fashioned, ethical farming. Another issue is transparency. The packaging gives you no information about which farm the chicken came from, not even what region of the country it was raised in. It's as if those drumsticks just appeared in the store by magic. In truth, they could have traveled hundreds or even thousands of miles before arriving at your local Costco. That matters, especially to folks who care about freshness, sustainability, and local food systems. Many food experts recommend knowing where your meat comes from, but with Kirkland chicken, that door is closed. Then there's the inconsistency. You might find the drumsticks one week, then return the next, and they're nowhere to be seen. It's like trying to make plans with someone who only answers the phone every other week. This on and off availability is partly due to Costco's limited cold storage space and the way they rotate products based on availability and regional demand. It's frustrating for shoppers who want to stick with one reliable option for their protein needs. And if you're looking for more predictable choices, Costco does offer a wide variety of prepared meats and other refrigerated products that are worth exploring. But the deeper issue remains. Even when it's labeled organic, you're not always getting the transparency or farm-to-table integrity that label implies. For older Americans who still remember a time when food came from the farm down the road, not a processing plant halfway across the country, that matters. The label might say organic, but the reality is far more complicated. And Costco isn't exactly rushing to tell you the full story. Number 3, Kirkland Signature Spiral Sliced Ham. Have you ever walked past that colossal pink centerpiece sitting inside Costco's refrigerated section? The Kirkland Signature Spiral Sliced Ham. It's nearly impossible to ignore. The size alone demands your attention. Like a glistening holiday monument to tradition and indulgence. Layer upon layer of neatly sliced meat, carefully curled into that distinctive spiral shape. It almost feels like it's whispering to every customer, "Take me home. Your dinner party needs me." And for a moment, it's hard to disagree. Let's talk about why this ham has become such a popular choice. First and foremost, convenience. This ham comes fully cooked and pre-sliced. That means no roasting for hours, no basting, and no wrestling with carving knives while a table full of hungry eyes stares you down. All you have to do is warm it through, and just like that, dinner is on the table when you're juggling 20 other things: mashed potatoes, stuffing, casseroles, desserts. Having the main dish already handled is a gift in itself. Then there's the spiral slicing, which truly is a game changer. Anyone who's ever had to carve a traditional ham knows the struggle: uneven slices, meat falling apart, awkward silences at the table while you fumble and slice. But with this spiral cut design, every piece lifts away with ease and elegance. Honestly, whoever invented spiral slicing deserves a place in the Kitchen Hall of Fame, right next to the person who came up with disposable roasting pans. Now, on to the price, and Costco delivers here, too. While brand name spiral hams at regular grocery chains can cost upwards of $6 per pound, Kirkland's version usually lands between $2 and $3 per pound. That's a serious bargain, especially when you're feeding a crowd. Whether you've got a house full of relatives or just want enough leftovers to last a week, this ham gives you a lot for your dollar. But here's where things get sticky, literally and figuratively. Let's talk about that little glaze packet they include in the packaging. It looks innocent enough, but don't be fooled. This shiny pouch is loaded with sugar, about 30 grams per serving, and the ingredient list reads more like a lab experiment than a recipe. Corn syrup, modified food starch, potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate. The names go on, and most people can't even pronounce half of them. If you're trying to limit your sugar intake, reduce processed foods, or just eat a little cleaner, that glaze might not be the holiday miracle you thought it was. Then there's the matter of size. These hams typically weigh between 9 and 11 pounds. That's fantastic if you're feeding a small army. But if you're gathering a smaller, maybe just you and your spouse, or a few close family members, you're going to have ham for days. And while ham sandwiches on day 1 can be delightful, by day 4, you're facing a different reality. Ham omelets, ham soup, ham casseroles. Eventually, the dreaded ham fatigue kicks in, and you're staring down the same pink slices wondering if you've made a terrible mistake. Still not convinced. Let's look at the sodium. This is perhaps the biggest health red flag in the entire package. A single serving, just one slice, can contain more than 1,200 milligrams of sodium. That's over half of the recommended daily intake, packed into one helping. For anyone dealing with high blood pressure, heart issues, or simply trying to eat mindfully, this is the kind of detail that should be printed in bold letters on the front of the box. But it's not. It's tucked away in the fine print on the back, hoping you won't notice. So yes, the Kirkland Signature Spiral Sliced Ham looks like a dream. And in some ways, it is. It's convenient. It's delicious. It's affordable. But behind that beautiful presentation and holiday glow, there are things you need to know before you serve it to your loved ones. Between the added sugars, processed glaze, sky-high sodium, and overwhelming size, this ham might be more than you bargained for. Number 4, Kirkland Signature Bacon. If you've ever wandered through Costco's massive meat section, hoping to find something flavorful, but still easy on the wallet, you've likely come across the thick stacked bundles of Kirkland Signature Bacon. 4 neat, vacuum-sealed packs lined up together in plain packaging. No frills. No gimmicks, just bacon. Each pack holds about a pound of pre-sliced pork, waiting patiently to hit your hot skillet and announce its presence with that signature sizzle and smell that has the power to rouse even the heaviest sleepers. Now let's give credit where it's due. This bacon knows how to deliver on value. At typically under $5 per pound, you're getting high-quality bacon for nearly half the price of the name brands you'd find at traditional grocery stores. For anyone who stood in front of the bacon section at the supermarket, staring at razor-thin strips priced like luxury goods, this is a welcome relief. Kirkland's bacon isn't flimsy. Each slice has a satisfying thickness that holds up during cooking. No more watching your bacon shrivel into invisible ribbons. What you put in the pan is pretty close to what you get on your plate, a perfect balance between crispy and chewy, with a deep, smoky richness that makes it hard to stop at just one piece. And let's talk about quantity. For families or serious bacon fans, Costco's 4-pack format is more than just generous, it's practical. Use 1 pack now, stash the other 3 in the freezer. Bacon freezes beautifully, holding its flavor and texture for up to 3 months. So whether you're meal prepping for the week, planning Sunday brunches, or just enjoy always having bacon on standby, this kind of bulk packaging works in your favor. And it's a big, but there are a few things that Costco isn't shouting from the rooftops, for all its strengths. Kirkland Signature Bacon doesn't offer a nitrate-free option under its store brand. That's a red flag for some health-conscious shoppers. Nitrates. The preservatives used in most processed meats to enhance shelf life and color have been linked in various studies to health concerns, particularly when consumed regularly. While the science is still debated, many doctors recommend limiting your intake, especially if bacon is a regular part of your diet, so that delicious breakfast plate might be satisfying your cravings, but your heart might be sending out quiet warnings. Sodium is another sticking point. Just 2 slices of Kirkland bacon, which, let's be honest, most of us never stop at just 2, contain about 400 milligrams of sodium. That might not sound like a lot until you do the math over a week. Add toast, eggs, and maybe a second or third helping, and suddenly your simple breakfast becomes a salty overload. For anyone managing high blood pressure or watching their salt intake, that's worth serious consideration. And then there's the fat. Kirkland's standard bacon is not what you'd call lean. One look at the raw strips and you'll see thick ribbons of fat running through each slice. Yes, fat is where bacon gets its signature flavor and texture, that melt in your mouth goodness, the golden crispness, the smoky aroma. But that fat also brings cholesterol and saturated fats that can't be ignored. If you're eating bacon as an occasional treat, that's one thing. But if it's become a staple on your plate, your doctor might not be too thrilled. Perhaps the most unsettling part, though, is the silence around sourcing. The packaging tells you almost nothing about where the pork came from. No farm name, no region, no information about the animal's diet or treatment. You're left to assume that the pork was raised in standard industrial farming operations. That means pigs likely lived in crowded, controlled environments with little regard for natural behavior or humane standards. And while that might not be an issue for everyone, for consumers who care about animal welfare, sustainability, or simply knowing what they're eating, the lack of transparency is troubling. In the end, Kirkland Signature Bacon gives you a lot of what you want: flavor, quantity, and a great price. But it also hides a lot of what you might want to know about additives, nutrition, and sourcing. So while your kitchen may be filled with the irresistible scent of sizzling bacon, it's worth asking what's really behind the smell. Number 5. Kirkland Signature Beef Hot Dogs. Keep walking through Costco's meat section, and you'll eventually arrive at something bold, beefy, and impossible to miss. Kirkland Signature Beef Hot Dogs. Sitting proudly in the refrigerated section with their thick red packaging and massive size, these quarter-pound hot dogs aren't your average backyard barbecue fare. In fact, they're so large that most standard buns can barely contain them. One pack includes 14 jumbo hot dogs, each one practically daring you to take a bite. And for longtime Costco fans, these are instantly recognizable. They're the very same hot dogs sold at the beloved Costco food court, still paired with a drink for just $1.50, a price that has miraculously stayed the same for decades, while the rest of the world's prices have marched ever upward. Let's begin with what makes these hot dogs worth the space in your fridge. Unlike many budget hot dog brands that mix in chicken, pork, or unidentifiable meat byproducts, Kirkland hot dogs are made with 100% beef. That's a major win for anyone who wants to know what they're actually biting into. There are no rubbery surprises or mystery ingredients that leave you second-guessing your food. The flavor is clean and familiar, juicy, smoky, and satisfying. And when you break down the cost, you're paying roughly $1 per hot dog, which is impressive when compared to other premium all-beef hot dogs that can run upwards of $2 each in traditional grocery stores. These hot dogs also store well. They freeze without issue, holding their shape and flavor when thawed. If you're someone who enjoys a casual hot dog now and then, maybe during summer cookouts, sporting events, or as a quick meal with the grandkids, buying these in bulk makes perfect sense. They deliver that classic American cookout feel without hammering your budget. On the surface, it seems like a no-brainer. But here's where the story turns and where Costco doesn't exactly wave a red flag. Each of these hot dogs is a calorie heavyweight. One single Kirkland hot dog contains over 500 calories. That's before you even factor in the bun, mustard, ketchup, relish, or whatever other toppings you love. Add just one bun and a few condiments, and you're quickly pushing 700 to 800 calories per serving. Eat 2, and you've consumed more calories than most complete dinners. That might explain why your belt feels tighter after a Costco weekend. And it's not just the calories. The sodium content in each hot dog is genuinely concerning, at nearly 1,500 milligrams per dog. You're already over half the recommended daily intake for sodium in one bite. For anyone with high blood pressure, heart issues, or general concerns about salt intake, this is something that simply can't be ignored. It's easy to enjoy the bold taste and nostalgic charm of a hot dog, but it's harder to ignore what it might be doing to your cardiovascular system. Then there's the ingredient list. Yes, the label proudly says 100% beef, and that claim is technically true, but dig a little deeper, and you'll find more than just meat. These hot dogs include corn syrup, sodium nitrite, phosphates, and other preservatives and flavor enhancers that sound more at home in a chemistry lab than a family kitchen. These additives help with shelf life, color, and texture, but they also contribute to the overall health concerns that come with processed meats. The words all beef might reassure some shoppers, but it doesn't mean these hot dogs are clean or wholesome. And sure, most people aren't eating hot dogs in the hopes of boosting their health. That's fair. Nobody is reaching for a foot-long beef frank thinking it's a superfood. But there's a difference between indulging every once in a while and regularly including these in your meal rotation. Understanding exactly what's in them and what that means for your body is key to making better choices, especially for older Americans who may be more vulnerable to the long-term impacts of sodium, cholesterol, and preservatives. It's worth weighing the fun of the food court against the facts on the label. So next time you're tempted to throw that massive pack of Kirkland signature beef hot dogs into your cart, pause for a moment. The flavor, the value, the nostalgia, they're all there, but so are the health risks. Knowing the full picture lets you decide if that bite of summer is worth the cost beyond the register. Number 6, Kirkland Signature Organic Ground Turkey. If you're after a leaner, heart-friendlier protein, Kirkland Signature Organic Ground Turkey might be your hidden gem at Costco, tucked quietly beside the louder beef and chicken selections. It's easy to miss, but for the health-conscious shopper, it deserves a closer look. The USDA organic seal on the label isn't just for show. These turkeys were raised on feed free from chemical pesticides and fertilizers. No antibiotics, no hormones, and most importantly, no animal byproducts in their diet, for under $5 a pound. You're getting high-quality organic meat at nearly 40% less than you'd pay in upscale health food stores. Nutritionally, it's a smart choice, with far less saturated fat than beef and around 20 grams of protein per serving. This turkey can help lower cholesterol without sacrificing your daily protein goals. Whether you're cooking chili, turkey burgers, or stir-fry, it's a versatile addition to weeknight meals. Still, the packaging leaves much to be desired. The tube design hides the actual product, leaving you to guess what's inside pink. Fresh-looking meat or something gray and unappetizing texture can vary. 2. Some customers say it cooks perfectly. Others complain of watery, mushy results. And just when you decide it's your new go-to, it might vanish from the shelves for weeks. There's also no transparency on where the birds were raised, or which farm supplied them, something that matters to many shoppers who want more than just the organic stamp. If you're craving something richer, Costco's USDA prime beef ribeye steps up with show-stopping quality. These thick marbled steaks represent the top 2% of beef in America, buttery, tender, and bursting with flavor. Priced between $13 and $18 per pound. It's a steal compared to steakhouses charging triple or more. Just be ready to trim fat and manage the oversized cuts. Some steaks come so thick they feel like they need their own area code. Bottom line, Costco offers impressive meat options from everyday lean to once-in-a-while luxury, but not without trade-offs. Always read the labels, manage expectations, and most importantly, buy with purpose. Thinking of switching up your protein routine? Share which Costco meat is your go-to or the one you'll be avoiding after this.